And trust me, if you're persistent and you follow these guidelines, a supervisor will eventually respond to you. Hi everyone, how are you doing today? This is Seyi Obasi. Hope you're having a lovely week. So today I want to talk about something very important. I want to tell you why supervisors are not responding to you or your emails for funding or scholarship in Canada. So, one of the ways that you can get funding or proof of funds to study in Canada is through scholarships or funding that you get, especially for those who are coming to do masters, research masters or PhD programs. For a lot of those programs, you can actually get funding that can cover all or part of your tuition and all or part of your living expenses. So in that case, if you're applying for your visa application and you get to the part of proof of funds, you can always say that you have been supported by the university. You can provide your funding letter, which they will give you alongside your letter of admission. And this way, the visa officer doesn't need proof of any other proof of funds apart from maybe miscellaneous to cover your flight tickets to Canada and back. So this is something that a lot of people want. They want that funding, but funding is not for all programs. Like I said, it's for PhD and a lot of research master's programs. Now, does it mean that all the master's programs in Canada or all the PhD programs in Canada are going to give funding? Absolutely not. For you to know whether that program you're applying for is going to give you funding or scholarship, you need to actually read the details on the program page. So if funding is required, if funding is going to be given to you or scholarship, it will be stated specifically on the program page that this program actually has funding. Yeah, and you can see right here above me or by my side, this is an example of a page that shows that funding is going to be available. That's the amount of money that's going to be available, and that is the program. So if you're going for that program, you're going to get that amount of money per year to cover probably your tuition or your living expenses. Now, when a program says that funding is available, the person who is actually going to be giving that funding to you is your supervisor. So you actually need a supervisor, which is probably a professor in that program or in that department that you're coming to study, who has agreed that he or she would supervise your program, and then they will provide that funding. So that's why you always hear people say they have to contact supervisors, because you actually have to contact that professor, and he or she is going to have to agree that, okay, you know what, I am going to supervise you and I'm going to provide the funding. There is no need for you to be asking them if funding is available, because that obviously gives the implication that you haven't actually gone to check the program page. So you should be checking the program page. Then you will be aware whether this program has funding or not, or whether you need to contact a supervisor or not. Funny enough, there are some programs that actually provide funding, but they will tell you not to contact a supervisor. Now, there are some programs that have funding and they will provide the list of faculty members and tell you to contact a supervisor. Now, in that case, second case, you actually need to, it is compulsory for you to get a supervisor that has actually agreed and said, you know what, yes, I'll supervise you, go ahead and submit your application. In the first case, where you do not need to contact the supervisor, I see a lot of people asking, should I still go ahead and contact one? If you ask me, in my opinion, yes, you should still go ahead and contact the supervisor, because guess what? There are lots of applications, yeah? And for you to be able to come do that program, they have to be able to find someone who is going to be willing to supervise you. Even though they've told you not to contact one, they're going to match you with one, but still they have to find someone, right, whose research interest matches yours. So if you can, try and contact a supervisor, tell them what your research is all about and how it aligns with theirs, so that at least they can have you in mind. If they like you and they want to work with you, they will put a good word in for you with the admission committee, and then you don't have to be struggling for limited positions or limited availability for these professors. I also want to let you know that these professors cannot take an unlimited number of people. They don't have unlimited funds. They actually have limited funds, and a lot of them can only take a maximum of 3 to 4 people for a program at a time. And that's why sometimes you might be contacting them, you won't hear back, or when you hear back, they'll tell you, you know what, I don't have space in my lab, because they actually do not have. There's so many people contacting supervisors, so many people from all over the world, not just you. So you need to be patient and understand how competitive that process actually is. So when it comes to the process of getting a supervisor to supervise you, you actually need to contact them by email, which is preferable rather than calling them. But there's a lot of people who have been contacting supervisors and they're saying they are not hearing back, or when they actually hear back, the supervisors are refusing to supervise them. And I'm going to tell you some of the reasons why they are refusing to supervise you. Sometimes it might be your fault, sometimes it might not be your fault. But if you actually don't need the funding and you don't need all the stress of contacting supervisors, you don't have to go for a funding program. You can go for a course-based master's program. So course-based master's program and master's program as well. But then you don't have to do a research paper. You don't have to do a thesis. You just do a normal course-based program. And then you do your program, you graduate, you don't need thesis and all that. So in that case, funding will be provided for you. Those programs are a little bit less competitive than the research programs that are actually looking for funding. Now, the reason why they want to match you to a professor is that they don't want you to come in and then there's suddenly nobody that can supervise your work, or nobody that has interest that is in line with your research. Then how are you going to do that research if nobody's supervising you? How are you going to do research if nobody's providing funding, if nobody's overlooking you? So that's the reason why in Canada you need to be matched to a supervisor if you want to do a thesis program, a PhD, or you want to get funding. Now, I need to stress that a research program, which is maybe a thesis or a research paper, is a very detailed program. So it's a program that requires you to do research, requires you to write papers. So you have to be that kind of detailed person. You shouldn't be stressed because you have to write a research proposal and all that. Now, I'm going to talk about the reasons why you're not getting supervisors to get back to you, why they are refusing to supervise you, and why you're not hearing back when you send them emails. Like I said before, email is the preferable way to contact the supervisors. And if you go to the website of most of the schools in the department that you're interested in, the list of faculty members is there. They will have it there in the department, and they will tell you to contact supervisors. Now, if the list is not there, please send an email to the research program head or whoever's email is there in the website, and ask them for a list of faculty members that you want to contact them. And if they require you to contact faculty members, they will definitely send you the place on the website where you can find the link the link to the list of those faculty members, and then you can start reaching out to them. However, before you start reaching out to supervisors, you need to be prepared, and you need to take note of these things that I want to talk about. Don't just go sending emails, don't just go calling them. Number one thing you need to know is that you're sending emails to them, and you're not the only person sending emails to them. You have to be patient, to hear back from them, and then you have to be persistent, but don't be a pest. The first thing that can make them be turned off by your email is when your email comes with poor grammar. Some emails that have been sent to supervisors are so poorly written, even from the subject to the body of the email, that even if I was the person who got that email, I would not be responding. It shows obviously that you did not pay attention to details, and you don't really care about the person that you're writing to. So make sure you're looking over the grammar of the email you're sending. You can use Grammarly. It's a free Chrome extension. You can also get the paid one. So Grammarly can help you check basic grammar and correct you. So be sure, number one, that your grammar is correct, the grammar they are sending to the supervisors. So number two is when you send your email and they notice that you are not familiar with their research interests or their research programs. You're just sending a general email that you're probably sending to all the other supervisors, and you're just saying, I'm looking for supervisor, please supervise me. No professor in their right senses is going to respond if your email is not interesting, if your email doesn't pique their interest. They see that you haven't taken the time to go through their research, you haven't taken the time to understand their research program, and then you haven't also provided them with your own research interest and told them why they should actually supervise you. Yeah, so you need to take the time to go through their research program, read a couple of their papers, look at what they have written papers on recently, and then of course come up with a research interest or a research topic that is in line with theirs. So now you'll be asking me, what if I'm not interested in that research program that they are doing? You don't have to be interested. What you're looking for now is a way to get funding, right? So you can look for something that you are interested in and sort of fit it in with what they're interested in. For example, now if a supervisor is doing something about the weather in Canada, for example, and they are proposing something to do with the soil, do you understand? They are not related, they might not be interested, but if you want to do something about the soil, but you sort of linked it to something about the weather, and if they see that, wow, this is creative and this is probably an idea they haven't even thought about before, they will be very excited, they will be very interested, and they will want to talk to you further to see and to hear what you have to tell them about that research interest. So take your time. I said initially that you're doing a research program, take your time to learn about their research, so when they are reaching out to them, you're actually speaking their language and they'll be excited to get back to you. The third reason why they might not be getting back to you is because you do not meet the requirements for the program. Now, there are a lot of you who have read the program page. You've seen that you don't meet the requirements. You don't meet the GPA requirements. You don't meet the admission requirements, but you're still going ahead to contact the supervisors with the hope that, I don't know, but really, if you don't meet the admission requirements, especially if they have GPA requirements, or maybe they need a 4-year bachelor's degree and you need a HND or something like that, they probably would not get back to you. Some will get back to you and tell you, you know what, I'm not taking students now. Some will just generally ignore you. Yeah, they would ignore you. It probably doesn't mean that you are bad or anything, but number one, maybe they are just not interested and they didn't take the time to write back, or they've seen that you haven't taken the trouble to go through the program requirements, or you have taken the trouble to go through the program requirements, but you've completely ignored it, and they are still writing to them, wasting their time, so they are not going to get back to you at all. So be sure that before you're writing to them, you have met the program requirements, and tell them that I've checked the program requirements and I actually do meet them. That's why I'm reaching out to you. So in addition, the email you're sending to them has to be purposeful, so it has to be specific. You need to give them a subject line that can catch their interest, maybe brilliant master's student looking for supervision, something like that. Just think about something that is creative, and make sure that your email, you are not rambling, talking about everything under the sun, that you're going straight to the point. These are busy people. Go straight to the point. Another reason why you're not getting them to come back to you and supervise you is that sometimes you might be lucky enough to get a supervisor reach back and say, wow, this is interesting, I would like to talk more, or I would like to know more, and they ask you for a research proposal. And some of you will freeze in terms of, oh my God, because you now have to go and write back and tell them what it is in details that you're proposing to research on. So, I mean, some people never get back to them with a research proposal. Some people send back a research proposal that is so bad that, you know, the supervisor is like, I don't want that. If you're lucky enough to have a supervisor write you back and ask you for a research proposal, please take your time to do a proper research proposal. Tell them the benefits of the program, of the research, why you want to do that research, and how it will benefit them. Don't forget that your success is the success of the supervisor. Yeah, whatever papers you're going to write or whatever research you're going to do, it's going to rub up positively on them. So they want you to do well, and they want to be able to put out a research or a paper that is actually going to benefit the community that they belong to. So when they're asking you for that research proposal, it's a step in the right direction. You've gotten somebody to notice you. You've gotten somebody to even write back and say, you know what, I'm taking this further. And then you now want to now spoil it. Please don't spoil it. Sometimes they might also ask for a video call, maybe a call on Zoom, because they want to talk to you, they want to see you, they want to, you know, ask certain questions. And that's when some people actually, you know, mess up. You have to be able to know, you know, the kind of questions they're going to ask how you're going to answer them. You have to be confident. You have to understand their own research, and every answer that you're giving them has to be something that interests you. And this is one of the things that we also teach in the Canada JAPA system. We show the questions that you can be asked and how you can answer them. If you've gotten to that part where you are in an interview with them, man, you're already 50% way in. If you don't get in, it might entirely be your fault at this point. So be prepared, be prepared, be prepared. So like I promised, I'm going to read you an email that I sent to prospective supervisors when I was trying to get to come to Canada. So I'm not going to mention their names, and I'm going to blur certain information there, but you just get the general whatever. So the subject of this email is Prospective Master of Sustainability Student. Dear Professor X, my name is X, and I graduated with a BSc in X, second class upper, and an MSc in S from this school. I am an international prospective Master of Sustainability student interested in working with your research group in 2018. I am a Nigerian interested in research that concentrates on climate change with a particular focus on governance and water resources. My interest and professional career in the last 6 years has revolved around these topics. In this regard, I am considering a few research options that would appreciate your assistance in pinpointing one that really resonates with your research interest. And my proposed research topics are, and I gave 3 research topics. You see the way I asked him or her to look at these 3 topics and choose one that suits their interest very well. But before I send these 3 topics, I'd already researched this person's research interests. I'd read their papers, and I knew what they were working on. And these 3 topics that I gave relates to what they were working on at the time. And I ended it by saying, I would like to send you details of my education, career, and research proposal. But I would like to know if you will be accepting students for the fall of 2018. Thank you for reading my mail, and I hope to hear back from you soon. Sincerely, Seyi, Obasi. So that was the email that I sent. And of course, I heard back, and this was what I heard back. Funny enough, I didn't get a response, so I had to go ahead to send a response. Dear X, please be reminded of my email below regarding my interest in working with you as my supervisor on your Masters of Sustainability program. I look forward to hearing from you. Regards, Seyi, Obasi. And then this person responded to say, Dear Seyi, my apologies, and your previous email must have been missed. So you see, even though I was angry initially and I was thinking, why didn't she get back to me? She actually did miss the email. She didn't see it. Yeah, and that's why it's also good to send reminders. Remember, I talked about being persistent but not being a pest. Send reminders, which is what I did, and she was able to get back to me. And she says, thank you for your interest in working with me in the Sustainability Science and Society program. And she said, could you please send me a copy of your transcript, unofficial is fine, and a recent writing sample. I look forward to hearing from you. Best regards. And she puts her name. Now, some people are going to ask you for a recent writing sample. Some people just get agitated when they hear that. It's simply just something you've written. It can be a part of your bachelor's research proposal, or the research paper you did in your bachelor's, research program you did in master's, whatever it is. It has to be an academic piece of writing, and it has to be something from you. Of course, I got back to this person. I said, please find attached copies of my transcript. I sent my MSc and BSc, as well as a copy of my MSc project as my writing sample, and I hope to hear back from you soon. Yeah, and then this person gets back and says, thank you very much for sharing these documents. I see some potential opportunities between your background and interest with my upcoming research plans, and would like to have a chat by Skype to learn a bit more about you and provide you with more information about what I do and plans for the next year. It's important we both feel there is a fit. Do you understand? It's important we both feel there's a fit. So they usually like to for them to see that they fit with you, and for you to see that you fit with them. And that's why, you know, she was going to do this Skype with me. Where are you situated at the moment, so we can sort out time zone differences? And if you have prepared a statement of intent for the program application, it would be great if you are willing to share it, even if it's a draft. looking forward to connecting. So because we have connected, you can see how they are so willing to help. She wanted to see my statement of proposal, my statement of interest, so that at least you can have 1 or 2 pointers. And then of course we fixed a meeting, and then she said, I asked her which of the 3 research topics I proposed would we be developing further that will help me prepare the statement of interest. Yeah. And of course, she told me we are open to different options. Perhaps it will be best if I develop the statement of interest after we speak. And of course, we did go ahead to speak, and it was a nice discussion. There was a fit between both of us, and we wanted to work with each other, and that's how we progressed from there. So when you send this email to professor and they don't get back to you, try and get back to them again. I think the best time will be like between 9 and 12 their time. So find out the time zone that they are. Find out that how that time zone, the same time of that time zone with your time zone. So you're sending them emails not at the midnight, or not in the midnight, not early in the morning, but between 9 and 12 p.m. and sometime maybe between 3 and 5 p.m. just before they go home. I think they look at their emails those times. And if you haven't heard back, don't think that someone is ignoring you. Maybe your email fell through the cracks, maybe went to spam, maybe they are too busy. Send them a reminder and they will get back to you. Don't forget that you need to contact as many supervisors as possible. This is so important. Don't be lazy and think you've contacted 1 or 2, and because those 1 or 2 did not respond to you, you're done. No, you're not done. You can contact different supervisors in the same department, but please make sure that your research interest is aligning, because these people, they might be talking to each other and they'll be like, wow, same person sends you a research interest on soil, sends me a research interest on weather. Do you understand? This person is confused. So you can actually contact more than 1 person. I did that, contacted more than 1 professor in the same department, but it was the same research interest I had. And contact as many people as you can in different schools, different regions, different provinces. You don't want to be depending on just 1 or 2, so that they can get back to you and you can get what you want, which is funding to study in Canada. Now, I know that there are some of you who have certain kind of challenges with contacting supervisors. If you're having any challenge, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment box. I want to see the comments so that I can respond. If you need help, any particular questions you want to ask, maybe you've reached out to a supervisor and they've asked you a certain question, you can write the question in the comments and I'm going to get back to you. And if you love the value you're getting, don't forget to like this video. Make sure you're liking it and subscribing to this channel and checking out all the other videos that we have, because we have lots of videos that can help you with your quest to relocate to Canada, whether it's to study, whether it's to get funding, or whether it's to work. So these are some of the reasons why supervisors may not be getting back to you when you're emailing them for funding or scholarship. If you want to move forward, make sure that you're ticking all the boxes, cross your T's and dot your I's, and trust me, if you're persistent and you follow these guidelines, a supervisor will eventually respond to you. All you need is 1. You just need the 1. You don't need 5 people to respond back. You don't even need 2. You just need the 1 to respond back. You just need the 1 to like you. You just need the 1 to want to work with you. You just need the 1 to provide you funding, and that is it. Just 1. Don't forget the spiritual side of things. Pray about it. Pray over the email. Pray over your research topic. Pray for favor. Pray for grace, so that eventually when they reach out to you and maybe they want to talk further, nothing will spoil it. It's nothing. You people must fit by force. Pray about that. You know, getting that funding and scholarship is really great. I want you to get it. So there's lots of information in the description box and also in this channel. Like this video and share it. Leave us a comment if you want us to do more of these videos that will give value to you and give value to others. So don't forget that it's not over until you say it's over. I wish you the very best. God bless you, and I'll talk to you in the next one.